Well, hey, Max, man, I really appreciate you coming on the show and talking to me and our audience. And I'd love for you to just kind of introduce yourself and share your story.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm Max. I live in Boston, and I had a spinal cord injury 2.5 years ago. A little more than that now. At T11, T12. But since then, I've gotten involved with all kinds of adaptive sports and really fallen in love with mountain biking and skiing. Um, yeah, those they've really transformed my life post injury. I've always been an athlete, and to be able to get back into being active really kind of gave me purpose again in life, and kind of drew me out of the hole that you get yourself into after a traumatic injury.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you sharing that little story and stuff. And I, looking at your Instagram, I definitely want to dive in. And I'm just really curious, like, how has mountain biking and skiing really impacted your life? Because you said you love mountain biking, and as a mountain biker myself, I love that sport. Something that I can get out and do.
Uh,
So I'm curious, like, how it's impacted your life.
yeah, like I grew up mountain biking, and like being able to return to it post injury, as a way to stay active, to get exercise. It's just really kind of kept me going, and I think it's still fun. You're still out there bombing around the trails, and uh, like it's just you still get that thrill and the adrenaline that you used to get. It's you make an adaptation, so it's different, but at the same time, it's that same feeling, that same rush that you get before. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, and I really loved how you brought in the fact that like it gets you out there, it gets you moving and stuff like that, and kind of a philosophy, especially as I dive into my physical therapy studies, is like movement is medicine. And so, how has that movement kind of like enriched your life? And then could you also dive into like the community that's associated with outdoor recreational sports because it's definitely different compared to like your like football and soccer and things like
Uh-huh.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with movement is medicine. I think just like being able to move, like get your mind out of the gutter, and it like brings you into the present. You're just kind of focused on what's in front of you. But like also about the community, I think like especially with all of the adaptive sports, mountain biking and skiing, um, community is more than just going out and like participating or going for a ride. Um, it's meeting people, and like those individuals can help you in kind of all aspects of your life. Um, I think in my experience, just meet some of the people I've met going out and mountain biking have like helped me with my wheelchair, or the things you deal with post injury. It's like driving; they'll give you advice on kind of all of what life has to offer, when you're in a wheelchair, or you're in a new environment after a life changing event like that.
So, what was your first experience like back on the trails?
Um, it was mellow. I went down to Cape Cod. Um, like this was probably like 6 months, or probably like 6 months after my injury. Maybe 3 months out of the hospital. It was probably spring, summertime, and my dad had pushed me to get out of the house, and to just to try something. And I went down to Cape Cod, where Spalding Adaptive Sports runs their mountain bike program. And we get down there, and I hopped on the bike, and we rode around for probably 2 hours. We did like 6 miles that day on, it's pretty flat terrain down there, flat, kind of sandy, nothing too technical. But it was probably the first time I was really able to get a workout in outside other than just doing like kind of the PT that I'd been doing since my injury. And I think just being outside that day is like really showed me that, you don't have to just sit around inside, like sit around all day, sit in your wheelchair. You can get out of your wheelchair and kind of explore the world in a new light.
Were you a different kind of sore compared to your PT visits after that run?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely felt it in new muscles and stuff. So, but yeah, like from that first ride, I went down there a couple more times and then got introduced to the more of the community, meeting other adapt mountain bikers, going for rides with them, and then that kind of spiraled into going up to Vermont and being a part of bigger events with adaptive mountain biking. Um, yeah, just meeting more individuals, and then your level progresses, you try. There's all types of adaptive mountain bikes. Like the first one I tried was the Lasher, which is just one wheel in the front and then two in the back, and it's all hand powered. But there's all types out there. I got to try most of them that are out there, and eventually, after a year and a half, I was able to get my own mountain bike, which just allowed me to kind of go all over and travel and just ride on my own and ride with friends and just have more opportunities. So yeah, this winter in February, or also like a year ago, right around this time, I got to try out the Bowhead RX up in Vermont at the Kelly Brush mountain bike camp up there, and I had ridden the Bowhead, and it's two wheels in the front with one in the rear, and then the front articulates, so you can really like lean into the turns, and the bike just sticks to the ground, and you got to balance it just like a normal stand-up two-wheeled bike. So it really feels like the same kind of same idea as riding bikes from before. But yeah, so I've tried it out, and then I got my own. I went up there up to they make them in Calgary, Alberta, up in Canada. So I got to go up there, traveled up there, picked it up, rode around in the snow when I was up there uh, in February, and then I brought it back home to Boston. And this summer, I've been riding all over um, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Vermont, gone all over the place. So it's been pretty special. Tomorrow, I'm going up to Burke, Vermont, and riding for the next 2 days. So in the peak of fall too right now. So I'm excited to see all the colors out there, and it's gonna be pretty nice to be up in Vermont tomorrow.
Yeah, I haven't made it up there yet, but it's beautiful, and I'm sure with the fall colors too happening, it's just going to be amazing.
Yeah,
So you were mentioning that bike that you got to ride, and you said it's similar to what like a able-bodied person would ride. So I'm curious, what was the learning curve like that? Since you rode mountain bikes before, and now you're on this bike that's really close to what you were used to.
yeah. To like control the bike, it's all your kind of your hips and your core that you use to balance and to turn it. Some of the challenges though would be like how it's very long, so that you have to kind of adjust for your turning radius. Um, and it weighs a lot, so it's very front heavy. So if you ever go off a jump or you're getting air, it likes to dive down. The front likes to dive down. So you really got to learn to control the bike and like by like counteracting your body to what the bike wants to do in order to move it around and turn it. but otherwise, it really handles everything. Like it's got e-assist on it, so you can go up the big hills and um, really you can really move and fly. And you're keeping up with everybody else too on two-wheeled bikes, so you're able to go out and ride um, and hang on the back of the pack for sure. You're not getting left behind, which is a cool. I think is important because I never want to feel like you're holding other people back or anything. You just want to go out there and be be the athlete you were before, the person you were before. So yeah,
Yeah, man, I can understand where you're coming from, and yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. And we were talking earlier, and I mentioned how like through some of these interviews I've talked to amputees that we've mentioned that like sometimes insurance when it's not medically necessary won't pay for stuff. So would you mind kind of sharing like how you were able to get that bike and maybe some organizations out there that like helped you acquire that just because there might be someone that's listening that's like in similar shoes and hasn't got to that part yet.
yeah, definitely. Adaptive sports equipment is unbelievably expensive, which makes it very tough for people to get their hands on it right after an injury or something like that. And so I've been very fortunate to be involved with a couple in organizations. The Kelly Brush Foundation, they're out of Vermont. They supply grants for adaptive sports equipment, all types of things, skis, bikes, um, sports wheelchairs, stuff like that. And they run camps to get people active and get people interested in adaptive sports and interested in getting their own adaptive equipment. So they gave me a grant for my bike, along with the High Fives Foundation. Um, they're another huge organization who supports all all types of athletes with life changing injuries, and they give out grants for adaptive equipment and other things as well as they run camps. So I've been involved with both these organizations over the past year and a half, and they've really opened a lot of doors for me, not just with like money and grants to get my bike and stuff like that, but to go out and ride with a community, and they've connecting with other people, going out and riding bikes and skiing with a whole network of individuals now. So yeah, I think if you're someone who's newly injured, or you're trying to get into this space um, of adaptive sports, there's plenty of organizations out there that are willing to help you and connect you with um, great just great great community. Yeah,
Awesome, man. Really appreciate you mentioned those, and I'll definitely drop the link down when this video is published and stuff. And we talked about mountain biking a lot, but yet at the same time, you're also getting into adaptive skiing, and you just got back from Chile and you're getting ready for the season. It sounds like through our conversation. So, you love mountain biking, but is it the same for skiing or?
yeah. So I think like the big difference between like mountain biking and skiing for me is that I was a mountain biker growing up, but skiing has been one of those things that's kind of come to me since my injury. Um, and I got into skiing here in Massachusetts, in New England. Um, but I'm ready to I started racing a little bit at the end of this year, and now I'm ready to move out to Winter Park, Colorado for the winter to really, immerse myself in the ski culture, in the racing scene out there. Um, so I started learning how to mono ski with Spalding Adaptive Sports out at Wachusett in in Massachusetts, and I went up to Vermont a couple times. This was, I guess, 2022 or 2023 is when I started learning how to ski that winter, and then this last winter I was like all in. I was like, I'm gonna, you know, I fell in love with it, and I was like, this is what I want to do for the winter, and I really pushed myself to get out there, just ski as much as possible. Um, Got to travel all over, really trying to like learn technique and how to be a better skier. Um, Seen some pretty crazy stuff online of what some other people out there have been doing, and was really inspired by that. And yeah, I was fortunate enough to go out to Colorado a few times, and I went up to Alaska, which was really really special. Up to Alyeska, I stayed up there in the bunkhouse at their adaptive program up there at Challenge Alaska for a week. Yeah, just sleeping there and then skiing all day. Um, and they got some great coaches up there, and even got to ski with Andrew Kirka, who's um, one of the best ski racers, and so he taught me a couple things when I was up there, and created a little bit of relationship with him since then. Um, but yeah, so after that last season, I did my first race in Colorado and got a little taste of the ski racing, and I think I wanted to do ski racing just to learn how to ski the right way, and I always like going fast. Um, but I think I'm really kind of focused on trying to learn how to ski the right way, and you know, then once you're an over like all around good skier, you know how the ski is gonna work under you. You can do whatever you want. But yeah, I'm focused on the ski racing right now. Chile was really cool. Did some super G and giant slalom while I was down there. Um, Really like working on getting close to the gates and letting that ski get on edge and trusting where it's going to take you. Um, but yeah, this winter, going out to Winter Park and training with the NSCD, which is the adaptive program in Winter Park, and they have a competition center there, which trains athletes and from all over the world. They'll come there and you know try and work on their craft so that they can eventually make their national teams and go to the Paralympics one day, which is one of my goals for sure, is to eventually race in the Paralympics. Uh, but yeah, looking forward to it.
That's awesome, dude. You're just a traveling man right now, aren't you?
Yeah, really, really kind of taking advantage of where I am in my life right now. Um, I'm 21 years old. I was did a little bit of college, got injured, and now I'm just kind of finding myself as and you know I have the time and just trying to have fun as as someone who's injured and just taking advantage of what's out there.
No, man, I hear you, and that's a great thing you're doing. You're doing all this exploration, which is a great thing to
Mm.
do, and that's something everybody kind of they have those phases where they just got to do it. And it sounds like you're finding something really good, and then that kind of goes back, like you said, when your dad told you to go out and do something. You said you felt like you had that purpose again.
Yeah,
Now you just mentioned that you're looking to get into skiing and get really good, and kind of got a goal of Paralympics maybe.
yeah.
So that's awesome. And so I'm curious, since you're a multi-sport athlete, like What's your training like? Do you have kind of a daily routine, or is it just really just getting outside and getting the skis on and going, or getting in the bike and just biking and then figuring it out that way?
Um, for in terms of training, I do a lot of I work out in a gym here in Boston, which is a lot of like core and kind of full body just training with weights and stuff, but with the main focus on core movements and getting your my core as strong as possible. And I think that's kind of the basis of everything is when you have a strong core, that it makes everything else easier. And then when it comes to skiing, it's I think it's you just need to be in the ski and working, getting those muscles that you don't use when you're just sitting in your wheelchair. Um, you're just working those and those getting stronger. But I think skiing is a ton of core at the same time, so they all kind of play off each other. But I also do rowing for cardio and just to kind of feel like I'm in good shape and then I can last and go for a while. Um, and I think that's same thing with mountain biking is just having that cardio base that so you can go out and go forever. Um, but yeah, I do that. I'd say I do like a core full body kind of workout. And then I do my rowing for like 4 days a week, for like around 90 minutes at a time. Um, and then other than that, maybe some weights at the gym on my own. But yeah, I think we'll see what this winter looks like. But I think it'll probably be skiing in the morning, um, 5 6 days a week, and then in the gym either before skiing or in the afternoons. Maybe 4 days a week, and getting your recovery sessions in there too, some stretching and stuff every day. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm focused on eating a lot too right now, and getting bigger. So yeah, I think like post injury, um, I feel I've talked to a lot of the people, and everyone kind of loses a lot of weight right away. Um, so I'm trying to get back to where I was before my injury. I was around like 190. I'm 6'5", so like 190. Um, and then I lost about like 40 pounds. So I was like 150 earlier this year, and I've kind of slowly been on gained some weight since then. So I feel like you want to be big, and you want some weight in the ski, so you go a little faster too down the hill, and the wind would blow you right over.
That's
Yeah.
fair. So you eating just a lot of junk food, or you kind of like eating really healthy, or you just like, I'm on that seafood diet where I see food and just eat
Yeah, I'd say seafood diet,
it.
for sure. Like I'd say I eat like healthy, but I don't diet or anything. I just try and eat as much as I can. Yeah, all the time. Get
That's all right.
yeah,
You need those calories, man. You're young, your
uh,
metabolism's high, and then like you said, bulking, so you got to eat those extra
yeah,
calories. So
yeah. Lots of
so fun. So going from mountain biking to skiing, has there been any skills from like mountain biking that have really transferred over and helped you with skiing and maybe picking it up pretty fast?
yeah. I think there's a good crossover for sure with especially with the bike I have, where you're using your hips and your core to to angulate and to turn the bike. It's the same kind of body position in skiing where your hip is dropping and you're kind of your there's this bike or your bike body separation or your bucket body separation in skiing, where your ski is moving under you as you're kind of level with the hill. Um, and on the bike, it's your upper body is trying to stay as like still or level to the ground, and the bike will move with the ground under you. So I think it's the same type of thing when you're squeezing your obliques, you're squeezing your core to pull your hip up on one side and then release and then on the other side. Uh, I think they really kind of impact each other and they work really well together as a combination of two sports.
Yeah, it's fascinating how like some sports can like have a good crossover, like you were just saying.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's why I want to ask and just see if maybe that's gonna I wonder if that's gonna give you an advantage as you get into skiing and start learning more of those skills because you already have that balance and core work from the bikes. So now you're just throwing it onto a ski.
Yeah. I think like visually when you're going down a
Mhm.
trail and you're tracking like what's in front of you and you're looking way down the trail. Um, there's a lot of kind of crossover with skiing as you're trying to ski in a line and like where you want to go. If you can recognize what's in front of you, what you're trying to avoid, and pick out things way down the hill, um, is also kind of similar in each sport.
No, man, that's a great tip because I'm one of those that doesn't look way down the trail, so that's why I always hit trees and go over roots. It's great.
Yeah.
Someone's got to do it,
Mhm.
man. Just testing out the durability of the bike in my
Yeah.
body. Well, dude, man, I love that we've just been talking about sports and stuff. And it sounds like you got, some great plans. And I'd love to, because I know there's probably someone out there that maybe hasn't got into sports, and this can be for the able bodied community or someone living with the adaptation. But could you really talk about what it was like getting involved with the community that like are full of other people that are kind of dealing with some adaptation or life change? Because I know that can be different than like, yeah, you have your friends from before, but being around people that have kind of gone through a similar situation or currently living with that, what could you describe what that's like and how beneficial that might be for people to find those communities?
Yeah, definitely. I think right after you get injured, you're very kind of isolated. And you don't want to be really involved with other people, or you don't necessarily want to talk to other people in similar situations or people in wheelchairs. You're kind of stuck in a mindset of like, I just want it to be normal again. I always just want to hang out with my friends that I had before. I want to be the same person I was before. But I think as you're able to connect with individuals in the same lifestyle as you and people dealing with the same things you are, um, you create more of a connection, and like you have a bond that other people don't get. And um, I think it can really draw you out, and they can show you things um, that other people can't. And I think it's a really important part of my life, is being able to go out into like go out places and hang out with those people, because they get it, and they can show you things that you never would have seen otherwise. um, yeah, I think people should you know take your time with it, but as when something traumatic happens to you, being able to connect with others that have kind of gone through the same thing eventually is definitely really helpful. um, and they'll show you the fun things out there to do. Um, they'll show you that you can do cool stuff again, and you're not limited to what's just in your head. And yeah, because if you didn't,
Yeah, man, I appreciate that.
yeah, if I never thought that I could do all the things that I'm doing now. Um, and without the people I've met along the way that have shown me all these things, that yeah, it's you can go ski, you can go mountain bike, you can go rip down the hill. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate those insights, and I know some of our listeners like could use that. And I really love how you use the word isolated because that's kind of what we learned and what I've seen, and some people have expressed in these interviews was they just kind of feel that isolation, but then you get around people within the community that you're now a part of, it's totally different. And it's good. Like you said, you've experienced things, you've had people to support you, and then you never thought you'd be skiing, and here you are. You're about to go to Colorado, and you just got back from Chile.
Yeah, it's pretty special for sure.
And so within that community, though, so I'm kind of curious: is there anyone in particular that's really kind of impacted you? That's kind of become like a mentor, both maybe in your sports, but then also in life.
Um, yeah, no, I feel like I have a lot of people out there that have kind of guided me. But in terms of skiing, one of those guys that I met, really in an off chance, is my friend like Peg Leg Pat, who's from Maine, and I met him at a Bruins game when I was really fresh out of my injury, man, just a month out of the hospital, and I was taking the elevator after the game, and this guy's standing there, and he looked at me in my wheelchair, and he was like, "Oh, you ski? You got to come skiing with me up in Maine." And I looked at him, I was like, what are you talking about?" I'm like, I didn't know what he was like. I didn't even know that was possible. I'm just this kid that had just been injured, and he's like, "No, it's the best thing ever. Got to come to Maine." And then, a few months later, I went, I started skiing. Had tried it a couple times, um, and the same guy from the elevator was sitting across from me at a table at a ski mountain, and I was like, "Oh, are you the guy? Are you Peg Leg Pat?" Because he had such an iconic name that I was like, "Oh, I remember this guy." Um, and yeah, so then I've skied with Pat ever since. He gave me my first monoski, um, and he's taught me a lot at the beginning stage of my skiing journey. And I've gone to ski with him a good amount up in Maine and in Vermont, over the last 2 years, and it's been a really special friendship and mentorship for sure. Really for showing me, I really thank him for showing me what's possible, and uh, that you can get out there. You just got to go up to Maine and ski with him.
That's awesome. If anybody's listening, if you need to find Peg Leg Pat and go up and ski in
Yeah,
Maine, is what
definitely,
I'm hearing.
definitely.
That's awesome. And then look for Max in
Yeah,
Vermont.
yeah,
That's awesome, dude. So, man, I know, you said you're 21, you have your goals of kind of getting into skiing, definitely looking towards like Paralympics. You definitely want to get training, but I'm kind of curious, you know, have you, do you ever think you might become a mentor, or have you already become a mentor, or do you already try working on like mentoring others?
yeah. No, I don't think I'm a mentor to anyone right now, but yeah, eventually in the future, for sure. Um, like I think giving back is important, and um, seeing what people have done for me, and I think eventually I want to return the favor to the next generation, or the next kid that comes out of the hospital not knowing what they want to do, or where they can go, or they don't know what's possible. Um, yeah, I think already I'm kind of thinking in terms of mountain biking, and you know becoming a mountain bike instructor, and uh, doing that so I can teach people how to get out on their bikes and stuff like that. Get Yeah, um, but I think we'll see. I just need, I don't know what needs to happen for that to occur, but mentorship is definitely something that I look forward to, and eventually.
All in good time, my friend. Just enjoy the phase you're in right now.
Mhm.
Sounds like you're having a great time and learn a lot. And yeah, I can definitely see that would be right up your alley, being an mountain bike instructor. That'll be
Yeah.
awesome. Well, Max, man, I really appreciate you coming out and spending, some time this evening to talk to us and talk to our audience and share stories you have loved, learn everything about you, and can't wait to watch your journey unfold. And hopefully, we'll definitely see you at the Paralympics
Yeah.
someday.
Well, thank you, Ben, for having me. It's been really nice talking to you, and chatting about all these sports and everything. So look forward to seeing where this podcast goes to. So excited for you.
Oh man, thanks. I appreciate it. Can't do it without people like you and kind of moving forward. People can, I'm assuming, following you on your Instagram.
Yeah, yeah. Instagram's Max C Lyman. Um, yeah, the my journey will be posted up there.